What's up? We are live fire with Dad, 2 weeks in a row in an airport. Dad, what's
Good
going
thing,
on?
baby. Fire with dad, baby.
So I am in the Seattle airport. I found a little corner to tuck away from everybody. The restaurant's a little loud, but last week it was, what was that last week? Minneapolis.
Right.
This week it's Seattle. And I don't know if you saw the space needle. I think you saw my picture. The smoke is everywhere up here from the forest fires down in California, and I guess there's some in Washington and Oregon.
Well, yeah, they showed a picture. They did a thing on Portland yesterday, and it said it's the worst. What do you call it? The worst. Uh,
Fire season.
well, not so much that the air quality was the worst it's ever been.
Uh, yeah, when we were flying in flew in Monday night from Vegas, and we were flying in. I thought it was fog at first. I wasn't even thinking about the forest fire, and then you could smell the campfire smell. And I'm like, oh, that's the fires. And you look out, and sure enough, it was smoke everywhere for 4 days when we were out here. You couldn't. We were up in Bellingham, and we went to dinner with a client on the water, and he was like, man, I wish you were here a different time because normally you can see out on the ocean and the bay and the islands and all that good stuff. So what you got going on? What's the
Well, I was
conversation today?
conversation is what you call RGAs, your your
RGAs.
your activity.
Yep.
Okay, what kind of activity have you got? I did my thing this morning on my educational minute with our TRN group, our BNI lookalike, and uh, or knockoff, and I talked about what kind of activity you're doing today. What's going on? Are you got any appointments? Are you making happy calls? Are you doing some referrals? Or who are you talking to? Uh, where are you eating lunch? Where are you eating dinner? Where are you eating breakfast? What's going on? What are you doing? Are you sitting home just get your head in the sand?
Yep. Oh, and I always bring it up. I have people call me and say, hey, how do you get a hold of businesses? I had a guy the other day. He's like, man, what do you do to get in charge in front of restaurants? I said, well, why don't you go to their restaurant? Why don't you eat dinner there? Why don't you talk to them? Why don't you meet them before you try and sell them something? Find out if you're a good fit for them, they're a good fit for you, and if they have a need you have. But to that point, last night we went for a little hike, and when we got done, we decided to get some wings because we had like 4 of my 5 clients I've seen in the past 2 weeks in pizza places, so we're pizzaed out. And so I hopped in a little car, went down, found a place in Bellingham, Washington with wings, and walk in, order our wings. And the guy across the counter was pretty jovial, good guy. And I said, who's the owner? Who owns this? And he goes, me. They have 2 of them. And the guy was a hustler. He also owns an auto repair shop with his brother. And he was like, yeah, I worked the auto repair shop all morning, got here about 5, and I'm closed until 2. He's like, gotta hustle. But he's the restaurant owner. He's in the restaurant. We had a great conversation. Actually, went back. He asked me to go back to the hotel, get my book, come back, had another conversation. We're going to talk in the next couple of weeks. But you got to go where people are at. I think a lot of times businesses, especially now, everybody's using COVID as an excuse to sit in their mom's basement on a Zoom call. You've got to get out where people are, and they're in their businesses. They're at networking events. They're at, like you said, breakfast, lunches, dinners, all that good stuff.
Well, the thing is that you know when I had my insurance business, I was networking everywhere. Everybody knew who I was, and so there was no such thing as a cold call for me. I'd walk into somebody's business and I say, "This is Dwayne Plaff." "Oh yeah, you're Dwayne Plaff. Come on in. Come on in. Let me show you the place." Okay. And the same. And I had a coaching session today at noon our time here, and we were talking the same thing. He's sending out a mailer once in a while. I says, "You got no visibility." I says, "You're helter skeltering it. You're shotgunning approach." I said, "Why don't you start getting on Facebook, nurturing some of these people? You got some of their emails. Put them on, write them to your Facebook page. Start putting things like going live on Facebook, and now you create some activity, create some energy, and now all of a sudden the people know who you are. So now when you send them a direct mail, they go or a mail on email, they know who you are." I said, the more visibility you get, the more energy you get, the less of a cold call it is.
So you say when you send them a mail on email. So is that something different than a traditional mail in the postal mail?
Well, I
I'm
mean,
just
email.
I'm
Oh,
giving
okay.
you a hard time.
Okay. We didn't know that.
Well, cool. No, I agree. You got to be active, and it's every business. If you're a restaurant owner, restaurants were like Flip Daddies in Union. Like I remember the CEO then, they're out of business now. All of them are. I remember when the CEO came into town, the new one is like, Matt, why do you think this Union location is bad? I'm like, my kids go to Ryle High School. My sons went to Gray. My son went to Gray for 3 years. I've never seen your brand up on campus. I've never seen you at any sporting event. You don't sponsor anything. You're not visible. you ought to, shame on you. This is a community you should be involved in. And you should be walking up here at football games, giving the cheerleaders footballs with their out. Now it's a little different with COVID, but in years past, it was a much easier thing to do.
Well, I guess I'll give you an example. Probably the craziest example is, you remember Stam's Meats?
Yeah, Stammies. It was Stammies, wasn't it?
No, Stam's of Erlanger. I used to get all my steaks cooked.
Yeah, there was an E at the end. It was called Stammies.
Well, okay. What do you want to call it? Okay. He sponsored football games. He would pay for the meals for the football team. He was all over Erlanger. Everybody in Erlanger bought at his place. Why? Because he was visible. Everybody knew you couldn't talk about him without something. Oh yeah, I was there yesterday. Or hey, yeah, I heard. I see he sponsors this. He sponsors that. He's all over everywhere. Yep. And that's the same thing.
I
same
agree.
with us. When we had our retail store. Guess who's our sign's still up on the damn football field.
I know. I saw that's funny. Well, cool. Well, get visible. You're breaking up a little, Dan. Plus, I'm in the airport. It's getting loud here, so I'm gonna go back to lunch, get on my plane. But next week we'll get a little longer one. No airport next week, so hopefully no airport for a couple months.
What's your activity, guys?
RGA, babes. Revenue generating activities. No matter what you are, if you're a restaurant owner, if you're a agency, if you're an insurance salesman, if you're a Dwayne Plapp who coaches small businesses, you need to have activities every day that put you in front of the right people that can generate revenue, no matter what field you're in. That's all I got.
Exactly.
See you, Dad.
See you. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.